Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. If you're subscribed to my channel or if you're just new here, you see all these videos uploaded like, oh my gosh, what's going on over there? What is B. Avery doing? He is running through these Oscar nominated films for the 95th Academy Awards, Oscars. Yes, yes, yes. And this one right here, guys, we are talking Causeway with Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry. I'm a big fan of both of these performers. As you can also see, I am not by myself. I got my man Nagier right here to the right. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
My brother. Thanks for having me back. It is a pleasure to knock out some of these big movies that everybody will or maybe not be talking about in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think that they're going to be talking about this one, man, and I'm pretty excited, And so again, I just want to thank you for being here, man. I really do
No doubt.
appreciate it. I really do
Appreciate you.
appreciate it. Also, I mean, this is his second time on my channel. If you were here in December, we did a spoilers review for about an hour for Avatar: The Way of Water, which is also nominated right now for best sound, best production design, best picture, and one other thing I can't remember. So if you guys want to check that review out as well, there's a link to that in the description box of this video.
Yeah.
And if you love what me and Nagier has to say today on this review, you can follow both of us on social media. Our handles are on the screen. His information is in the description box of this video. And like always, he's on my channel tab right there on the far right, looking nice with that 21K on YouTube. This is what his channel looks like right here. Show him some love, subscribe, support this brother. He makes good content. He be on them red carpets. He be getting them interviews. He be getting the spotlight in Hollywood. And so you'll definitely enjoy yourself if you subscribe to him as well. And also, before we get started, if you would like an audio only version of this review, you can get that. There is a link to it in the description box below with buzzsprout.com. Yes, buzzsprout.com. I am on all of these platforms right here. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. You can see the screen as well as SoundCloud. And so get your audio only version on. And I was going to do some shameless plugging, but I'll do that at the end of this review. But my man, we got Causeway, man. I reached out to Nagier. I was like, hey, bro, I need your help. You know what I'm saying? I'm running through these films. I was like, these are the ones I have left. And with confidence, immediately, he was like, oh, let's do Causeway. And I was like, yes, we get to talk about Brian Tyree Henry, a brother talking to another brother about a brother. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up right there. And going into this, man, I didn't see any trailers. I remember when it was making its rounds last year on Apple TV, I had an opportunity to see it, but it just got away from me and didn't really know anything about it. All I did was read the synopsis saying a U.S. soldier suffers a traumatic brain injury while fighting in Afghanistan and struggles to adjust to life back home. And I'll be honest with you, Nagier, when I saw this poster and I read the synopsis, I just made the assumption that it was Brian Tyree Henry that was the one coming back from Afghanistan. I just, don't beat me up in the comments, y'all, or be mad at me. Don't be throwing tomatoes at the screen or nothing like that. But I just was like, oh, okay, Brian Tyree Henry is dealing with the trauma, and I guess Jennifer Lawrence is going to be helping him. But no, that's not the case. It is the complete opposite, man. And of course, I wasn't expecting it. And I'll just say, man, my expectations for going into this film were, mediocre to low. I didn't know anything about it. I mean, I knew it was decent at least as being nominated. And, we got Brian Tyree Henry here. But man, Nagier, I was pleasantly surprised by this, man. I really did enjoy this film. I do, acknowledge. I like the fact that it is being nominated at the very least, because I think not only did Brian Tyree Henry do a great job in this film, Jennifer Lawrence did too. I said before, I'm a big fan of their work, and I regret not seeing this before. And this was an eye opener to me, man, with them dealing with trauma, not just her, but him.
Yeah.
Also seeing another Oscar nominated film, All Quiet on the Western Front, on Netflix, that has to do with war. And while that's World War I, still everybody that fights in war they have PTSD, or most people do. It's a very serious condition, not to be taken lightly. People really be messed up upstairs, and I can understand, man. And so that's kind of what we dealt with in this film in modern time, but post-war. And I liked how this film was progressing on, peeling back the layers on not only what Jennifer Lawrence was going through, but also Brian Tyree Henry. And like I said, it was a pleasant surprise. So I really did enjoy this. And of course, we're going to get into the details, but I want to pass it to you real quick, man. Like, what was your, expectations going into this film, and general impressions as well?
Yeah. So, okay. So my exposure to this film was in terms of plotting for Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF. You look for those must-see movies, and sometimes there are those premiere movies or those headlining movies and whatnot that get all of the advertisement and so on, like the ones that throw at your face that you have to see these, right? But then us critics, we have to kind of get through the weaves and say, let me see if I see any big directors attached to stuff and big names. And I saw a movie with Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry, and of course I was calling him Paperboy, and I was like, what? I didn't even care what the synopsis was. I said, I need to see what's up with that. Like, that's it's one of those type of things. Like, I didn't ask for that, but now that we're here, I'm not complaining,
Right.
And then the other big thing that I do, and I strongly suggest anybody that goes to any film festival, is take a look at the films that have distribution already, because that tells you that, one, this is a monetorial investment to them. Folks already know that they're good to go. They're going to premiere there, but they're good to go. You'll be seeing it soon, because typically that means it's a good movie. And if they don't have distribution, then sometimes they still can be good movies, but maybe they just need the word of mouth for folks to get out there so that they can get their deal done. But when you see a movie with Brian Tyree Henry, Jennifer Lawrence, and then A24 is behind this, and you say, oh, well, who's A24? Oh, the folks behind X, Pearl, Bodies, Anywhere, Anything, Anywhere, All at Once, one of the hottest movies. You say, oh, okay. I need to see what's good with this one now. Like, this is all you needed to know right there. And then we also know that Apple TV Plus, who has putting out banger after banger with their content, not just their movies, but their series and everything. It was an icing on the cake before I went to go see it. But I'm a huge Brian Tyree Henry fan. And I hopefully there's enough eyes and attention on him. I mean, this guy transforms in every role he plays. Like, I jokingly always call him Paperboy, but he's only Paperboy in Atlanta. Right. Seriously. But every single thing that he's in, he takes those characters and he instantly becomes must watch. And in this with James, I just was just like, at a point I wasn't surprised. I was like, yeah, of course, this is what they do. But I will say that, like, while there's a focus of trauma in this organic energy, like, I'm almost sure Brian Tyree Henry and Jennifer Lawrence have never hung out. I'm almost sure. And if they did, they in passing, carpets, events.
Right.
But the way they built chemistry in this feels like these are two childhood friends who always knew they wanted to act. They went separate ways, college schools, and they came back together, and they finally get to do their movie. And that's sort of like the premise of this movie, essentially, with the core being New Orleans. You're coming back home. You done had your experience in life. She's done had her experience in life. And now y'all kind of trying to see where y'all are at.
Yeah.
And it's just a ride where it has a lot of heart, but it has really important messages in it. And this is what I love about film festival films, is that, yeah, we love our big blockbusters. We like our Michael Bays with all the action and explosions. We like those things.
Mavericks and all that.
Yeah, exactly. We love those things. But when you go to a film where it has just a strong message with acting, this becomes a masterclass where you can say, like, this is when you have a simple. What's the synopsis? What is it, like 10 words?
Yeah, for real. Yeah, let me pull it back up. Here you go, right here. Trying to adjust from coming back home trauma.
That's it. And then you come out with 1,000 words. You want to talk about it to other folks. You also kind of want to look yourself in the mirror at times, and the things you're kind of going through and the conversations that they're having. You're letting these two performers, which I could imagine. The script is fantastic in it. This is my favorite part about the film. But I could imagine at points that they just let the cameras roll and say, hey, y'all know y'all characters by now. Go do what y'all do. So, like, I went into this film with, to like high expectations and then it overly delivered. But I will say this, with all the high praises I gave to this film, I did not overly love it. I thought it was a really good film, but there was just a lot of really good films that it was just hard for me to kind of throw it in there. We both voted this year, and it was just hard to kind of throw it in my 10 when there was this other films that were just so good from just a lot of other things. But I would never knock this film from saying it's not a spectacular film that you definitely need to go see. If I had to equate it to something like symbolic, I said like Jamal Crawford in the NBA, like a good 6 man. Like you know, if you put him in, you know you're gonna have a game changer. I think this is a film like, regardless of how you rank your top 5 or your top 10, no one's gonna argue if you throw this in there. No one's gonna be like, no, that don't deserve. He's gonna be like, yeah, this one, that's a banger for sure.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I like that. Well said. Also, I always like to give the directors, some shout outs. Let you know who was behind the camera putting this thing together. Miss Elia Nabar. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name, so I apologize about that. I'm not too familiar with her, but if we scroll down and look at her filmography, this is what she's done right here. I know somebody that's watching this, the Sex Lives of College Girls, and I wouldn't have ever related those two together. Her doing Causeway and this, but here. Yeah, so just shout out to her real quick, man. And you said, I mean, it's cool, man. All things are subjective, but you say you really didn't love this film. I did. One, because real being kind of funny and serious, it's a short movie. It's 90 minutes, even if you take away the credits, it comes in at like 1 hour and 26 minutes. And so that's cool. I love my little short movies. So if you just want to get in and get out, that's perfectly fine right there. A small cast, everybody is on like a first name basis, and just the performances were great. And like you said, I wanted to touch on the relationship between these two. Just felt so natural and organic, like they was meant to be together, kind of like they were soulmates, and I liked the way they addressed that. Even I really liked also the way this film started off. It was just so quiet. We are just seeing Jennifer Lawrence. There's no dialogue. Just you hear the birds chirping outside, or someone mowing the lawn, or cars driving by on the street or the highway. Somebody opening a door, etc. And we're seeing that she's trying to navigate and just going about her life, but she's struggling. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened. And I'm curious and I'm interested and I'm really at the edge of my seat with my hand on my chin, like, okay, what happened to her? How did she get into this position? And also, there's a time jump at the beginning because she can barely walk. Of course, this is going to contain slight spoilers, so sorry if I didn't let you know. She can barely walk, and then all of a sudden, she's cleaning pools and bringing in groceries and carrying row machines in the backyards and going swimming. And so I'm just like, okay, what exactly happened? And I just love the way as this film progressed, the layers are just coming off, and we're getting her story. And not only is it a good story, it's the way that it's shot when she's in the doctor's office and the gentleman, what is his name? I love this guy, the black doctor, Mr. Stephen McKinley Henderson. He's a wonderful performer. The camera just centered in on her, zooming in slowly with her explaining the situation of how the explosions went off in Afghanistan, and it's horrific. Like she had a brain injury and her head is bleeding. I'm really curious on how you felt about the message, but I love that. And just also, man, like, does she have a mental health condition? Is she being stubborn, or is she just a super duper patriot? I mean, which one is it? Or it could be a combination of them all, because she wants him to sign that waiver and for her to go back overseas, and everybody's kind of looking at her with a side eye, like, are you serious? The doctor, James, her mother. I like all of that, and I like that I don't know either. It just I really have a soft spot for people that serve our country and have PTSD, and I was just really at the very least very sympathetic for this character. And we haven't even got to Brian yet, as we're getting to know her. But she knocked it out the park. Like, what other pros do you have, or some of those messages that you was talking about?
Yeah, and I agree. And I think the biggest message here, just focusing on Lindsay, is that she carries a message about the support for our military, whether it's their deployment or their return back into society, and the importance of mental health and PTSD and the resources for them. Because as the synopsis says, she has a problem readjusting back into society. Well, there really isn't a pathway for them. People get honorably discharged and it says, well, thank you, and you're back. And they come back and they struggle. They can't sleep. They can't communicate. All they know is war. And so while it seems bizarre that she will want to go back, but that's what everybody does. And in the mindset of complacency is you only know what you've always been around. True. And that's all she knows. And that's where she feels safe, because when she's here, it just isn't the same. It just isn't what she's accustomed doing day in and day out. And she gets reminders every single time, you know, the relationship she has with her mother. And obviously, you know, I don't want to give too much away, but like there's other relationships that she encounters that just reminds her that like you're almost not welcome here. Even though you're from here, you're almost not welcome here. Yeah. And I think like when Lindsay and Dr. Lucas has these conversations, I think it's just growing in importance as to how do we better serve our military once they come back home. Yeah, giving them military folks what do you call them, point preferences to get jobs or discounts and stuff like that. Those are nice, absolutely. But this is the core of what a lot of folks are struggling with, where they can't figure out how to adjust and live in society right now. And that's why I love this message. And like, again, when I go to a film festival, I'm looking for these films that got these strong narratives, these strong messages, that you watch the film, you appreciate the film for all it's worth. You never know when you may even see that film again, because that's just how it is sometimes. But you know, there's a message that you're always going to go and carry with you in everything that you do going for it. I think this is why these filmmakers go broke. They say, I want to make sure what's close to me, what's important to me is being done through the vessel of this film, and every single person that watch it just spreads like a virus. So now we understand that, like, yeah, I do got that one military friend who just can't operate. Something like they're off, and like, and you know, for the sake of sensitivity, because you know we don't say this word, but people throw out the word, which again we don't say this word, but people throw out the word and say, oh, they're crazy. No, they're struggling. They don't have the resources. They don't have a Dr. Lucas that's trying to do what's best for them, or they don't have resources around them that's trying to bring them back into it. So by all means, because again, for the folks I've interacted with and even people really close to me, I love this. I love this alone, without even talking about Brian Tyree Henry, who just comes in and just blows the top off this film. I love this. It's so important. It's a story within a story within the story that's happening here. So yeah, fantastic messages, and hopefully everybody who watches this takes a message from it, applies it into their life, or extend their hand to reach somebody else who may need to see or hear this.
Yeah, well said, bro. Knock that out the park again, man. Gotta have you here more often. So thank you for that, man. And like, we haven't got to Brian yet, but you know, Jennifer, she did a great job. Just a ticking time bomb, and it's just like all over her face, you know, just has her walking. You just never know when she's gonna snap or get up. You know, a happy moment just flips upside down when she throws down a snowball or a snow cone, you know. And it's and not only that, I just like the way that Brian reacted to it. You know what I'm saying? He's broken too, or even broken, you know, and like it was the perfect meetup that both of them needed. Just the cars broken down, and you know, the way that they come together. And I wouldn't have put it together, man. But as I keep talking about these layers, man, you know, I guess he would had a little liquid courage from all those beers and just kind of opened up. But while I was watching this, his performance is great. The way that he was explaining the situation, like he just feels horrible, man. Like, I mean, I kind of feel like he wanted to commit suicide. And, you know, I don't promote that at all, especially us Black people. You know, we definitely do not believe in suicide for the most part, you know, whether we've been conditioned to think a certain way. You know, most Black people are just like, you know, we don't commit suicide. That's a straight ticket to hell. You know what I'm saying? Or that's at least what I grew up thinking. But it's all over his face. And at the same time, I cannot blame him for what he went through, man. That is just something that you cannot get over. It is something that's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. And when he was communicating with Lindsay, I don't think he was trying to shoot a shot. I really don't. At the very least, he was trying to play the long game of just like, okay, hey, let me just make myself available, let this person know who I am, and she can make the decision whether this is going to be a platonic relationship or a romantic one. And I liked it. I mean, the brother does have some game, you know, in the sense, you know, he was, you know, I love this approach in there. And so that's another thing that I was just watching this film. Like, okay, was he really trying to shoot his shot, or was he just kind of, you know, playing it cool? And I'm still on the I'm still on the fence, you know. And again, he was a bit emotional.
Yeah,
he was, because at his age in this film, most, and I'm talking about this scene right here at the pool, most guys don't react that way at his age, you know, just, oh, what is this, you know? And I don't want to spoil too much, and I felt sorry for him, man. This is not just, of course I'm not going to say what happened, but I don't think he's just looking at her as a knockdown. I think that he really does care and just really wants some genuine companionship. And that is very, very rare, especially when it's male, female, black and white. And they had a scene where they hugged each other, and I was just like, I didn't know what to think. I was like, wow, this is nice. You know, like I hate to say this, but in a world of cameras that we're living in right now and all over social media, just seeing them act an ass just because we are existing, but to see the way that she embraced him during that scene, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm relying on that, or just like, oh, I want the white women just love us. No, but at the same time, this was nice, man. It was genuine. Again, the brother did get a bit emotional, but I even like the way they butted heads, man. I mean, sometimes that happens, and I'm on both sides, you know, like they just had an impasse, and you know, they had to get some stuff off their chest, and they were perfect for each other to, you know, to bounce off of each other, you know, from that. So like, kind of, how did you feel about all that, or, you know, James as a whole?
Yeah, I always forget the saying that people make, but like I think the pool scene is one of the most must watch moments in this film. Again, I think the script is fantastic, and I think this is the moment where we really see two actors really, really, really push and elevate each other to be their better selves. Their best selves, and well, that's why they get nominated for these things, you know. Just I think strictly off this scene alone, folks were just like, oh, let me remember this film down the line. But yeah, I do love and the saying I was getting at is that, like, they're both hurt, as you mentioned. And although I'm not a big fan on this, because I feel like it's kind of like preying on somebody when, like, they're emotionally compromised, and you're just kind of like, oh, here's my chance, you know. But they just happen to both be emotionally compromised, and it just starts to swirl. It's like, oh, romantic, oh, hurt, oh, anger, and it's just all shuffling around. So you're getting all these different matrices of emotions to one another. That's just, it's good. But I think the end of the day, because of this combustible moment, this is where the two of them became their most vulnerable. So on the other end of this, now that you got all that dialogue and all these different things kind of going out, now we really get to see these two actors show why they are some of the best in Hollywood, because you see them angry, then you see them just completely emotional at the point that you're emotional too. Hell, if you didn't feel for either one of them in this scene, you don't have a heart.
True.
But to your point though, I do love that, like, they made this really about almost the camaraderie of the experience, the PTSD, or just the trials and tribulations through their life brought them in this pool together. This pool probably felt like an ocean to them from everything that had been together. And there's only one other person left right now in their visible sight in all of existence, and that's them two. So like, it's just it's shot beautifully, and even by, you know, the graphic here, that aqua blue, and just how it's glowing off of each of their skin. I think it's just a really, 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 really good scene. This is where they made their money at. And, fantastic.
And on a personal side for Brian, you know, of course, he was Fastos in Eternals. What was his character name? Fastos, right?
Yeah.
So I remember him in an interview or a feature read, he was, you know, in the Eternals outfit, and you know, he has a gut, and I'm not shaming the guy, but he spoke about that himself, about how sensitive he was that he would not look like a superhero in a Marvel film, and he was also worried that, oh damn, I got to be in a Marvel movie, they're gonna make me get in shape. You know, he was really insecure about it, but when he finally put the suit on, he got a real boost of confidence. So to see him in this scene right here, you know, with this shirt off, after hearing him in that interview, that just goes more into the story and performance of their relationship and how she made him feel comfortable, especially because, you know, he was you know, and he was in a handicapped position, you know, like, you know, you got to see the film to know what we're talking about. Now, that's my soft, squishy Brandon, you know, but then I got to go over to the conscious mind, and I'm just like, hey, you know, we can't be trusting all these Karens, you know what I'm saying? But again, all white women aren't evil, and I don't think Lindsay was in this film, but that's just how I think, you know what I'm saying? I got my guard up, you know. That's just how I am. I'm just being honest, you know. But yeah, man, this was fantastic. I also want to ask you, I guess, how do you think they did the well, no, that's a spoiler. I was gonna ask you, like, did you think he had a green sock on? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
I probably shouldn't even brought it up.
It gets hot, folks. It does, and I think it's only right, because just the roller coaster of things that goes on, it leads to that. I mean, and honestly, kind of root for a win here. They both have been rock bottom, so like, you know. And again, I don't think it was ultimately romantic. I think it was just a moment of just isolation. The two of them just felt like they were just the only two people left right now. So
yeah. And the way that they both reacted to it from that combustion, that explosion, you know, he was emotional. She was kind of like, well, you know, like, Negro, please. I mean, she didn't say that, but you know, like, that's the like,
wouldn't that been something?
Right, man. But man, I really did enjoy this film, man. Out of all of the Oscar nominated films that I've seen, I've enjoyed a good number of them, but some I'll say to myself, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I never want to see it again. You know, but this one right here, Causeway, I would see this again happily.
Yeah.
By myself or with somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did enjoy it that much. And so if we look at it on Rotten Tomatoes, critics gave it an 84%, audiences gave it a 73%. So that's what's up right there. Of course, it was not released in theaters, so there's nothing on Box Office Mojo. But if we look at the best supporting actor, your boy Brian is up against Brendan Gleeson with The Banshees of Inisherin, Jude Hirsch, Barry Keoghan, and also Ke Kwan.
That's the hurdle right there.
Which one?
Ke Kwan. Easily. That's the hurdle. That's the one. Yeah.
Who would you give it to, man? Who would you give it to?
Honestly, any day where All It Was is my favorite film of the year. So I just keep it at that. Everything, everywhere, All It Was. I always get it for my favorite film of the year. So, but again, I went into that film knowing that film was going to feel more like a film that I would go out to the theaters and want to go see. This was one of those films where it's just like, oh, on paper it looks good. I can't wait to see what it does, and it delivers. So, I don't try to marginalize films, but like this felt like a film festival film that like surprised me that I want to go tell the world that, hey, go check this film out when it comes out. The other film is like a film like you all probably already heard of it. I know you've seen it somewhere, but like, yeah, it's good. Go see that. You know, everything you think it possibly could be, yay or nay. But like, this was a film like you probably didn't know anything about it unless the good word got to you.
That's true.
So I just feel like they're playing in different ballparks, but like equally. And shall I say this? With that even being said, Brian Tyree Henry name being in that list of company is already a win.
True.
Easily.
True.
So
it's true. Not good observation, sir. Good observation. If I had to rate this out of a 1 out of 10, I'm giving at least a 9, maybe a 9.5. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What would you rate this, sir? Whatever you're rating. 8. Okay. Yep. That's what's up. I'll go ahead and say, man, I would give it to Brian. You know, Ke Kwan was good. He was great actually. But I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. You know what I'm saying? But we'll just have to see. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to wrap it up for our review for Causeway, A24 film nominated for an Oscar 95th Academy Awards for Brian Tyree Henry for Best Supporting Actor. I hope the brother does good job or wins, excuse me. Also, guys, get your audio only version. All of that is in the description box below. And my brother, like, what do you have going on in your channel that you want to promote to all the good people out there?
What I mean, I feel like we were all on the same grind right now, but I am looking to close up a lot of shows that are getting near the finales right now. We're neck deep in Bel Air. Your Honor's finishing up this week. Snowfall is just jumping off its final season. And it's film festival season, so expect to see some things kind of popping up on that note. So, like, nothing spectacular, same old grind. Power. I know you ready.
I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I haven't seen any of them yet, but I'm ready. I'm ready. I cannot wait.
Yes,
I cannot wait. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a number of these Oscar-nominated films. Look at all those right there. They uploaded, ready to be released on March 12th, Sunday.
Hey, listen, I see like 4 of my favorite films just right there. Turning Red, fantastic. Obviously Top Gun, Puss in Boots. I loved your review of that, and I'm trying to tell folks, do not sleep. That is the film to go check out. I don't think got enough love.
Right on.
But yeah, killing it, my guy.
Appreciate it. Movie reviews.
Well, it's amazing.
Yes. Spoiler reviews, series reviews, a weekly movie news roundup show, Bel Air season 2, Snowfall season 6, trailer reactions, a couple of interviews. I'm trying to get like brother Nagier here with all them interviews. I got some fresh out of the theater reactions. Also, Creed 3 was just released not so long ago. Checked it out. Cocaine Bear, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania spoilers review part 1. And also, if you want to check out me and Nagier's first review on my channel, Avatar spoilers review. But if I just want to make you big, because I uploaded these thumbnails, got my Turning Red review,
yes, sir.
Top Gun Maverick,
yes, sir.
We got The Fablemans, we got Puss in Boots 2, we got Avatar again, my third review with Lamont. The Whale is off the chain. Check out that right there. Pinocchio. We got The Banshees of Inisherin, Triangle of Sadness, Elvis, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and also Tar. I'm trying to cover as many of these as possible, and so make sure you subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And my movie news roundup show that I host on Sundays at 6 p.m. CST. It's usually on Sundays, but that's going to be the time of the Oscars, and so I'm going to host my next show, number 97, on Monday. Monday, March 13th at 6 p.m. CST. That's when I'm going to discuss all the winners, all the losers. And hey, man, if you're free, if you're available, you're welcome to come through as well, man. I'll send you the link if you want to pop in. You're welcome to. If not, you can ignore it. But yeah, man, there you go. There you go, guys. You may be busy, man. I don't like to make people feel obligated, but this was a lot of fun, my brother. I really do appreciate you coming through and talking this movie with me.
Yes,
but guys, before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery, that's Nagier, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.